Hey guys, finished my road trip yesterday, 6 hours down to Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan in the Viper. Uneventful, which is excellent. My red line radar detector was working beautifully. Picked up law enforcement doing, I guess what you would call those instant ons, about 2 miles ahead on other cars, and gave me enough warning to slow it down a bit. Although I don't really speed all that much. Yes, I do when I pass people. I like to have the power to get around people. But as I'm driving typically down the road, I'm doing 10, 15 over at the most. So I just press the cruise control button to, slow her down, and it's pretty uneventful, and it doesn't look like I'm jamming my brakes on, which I don't think is really the best thing to do. Anyway, I learned something new about my Viper yesterday, and this is one of the really cool things about owning a car like this, is that, quite honestly, you learn things about the car as you drive it. I've owned this car for 2 years now, just about 2 years, maybe more, I don't know. I bought it a few years ago. I think it's 2 years in May here, coming up pretty quick. And you learn things about the car as you drive it, whether or not it's the driving dynamics of the car, that is how to drive it better, or in this case, technical aspects of the car. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm a U.S. citizen, and I've lived in Canada most of my life. I have resided in the United States for periods of time, but the majority of my life has been in Canada. Now, that being said, I really don't like the metric system in some respects. I love the metric system when it comes to calculations, because of course we all know it's done based on tens or thousands. It's very straightforward in that respect. But some of the figures with respect to the metric system mean absolutely nothing to me, and I can't relate them in my mind. And I think some of you might be able to appreciate this, particularly when it comes to temperature. You'll notice that it says 34 degrees out. Now, of course, I've got it in the imperial, I guess, measurement right now, or the US measurement. And what you can do is go into controls, settings, display, and change the units of measurement. Now, up till now, I've had it in metric. And that's because, of course, the speed that we use in Canada in the unit of measurement is metric. And so I didn't want to have miles per hour indicated here, because although I'm fairly capable of doing the conversion, it's still a bit of a pain in the butt, and I like the accuracy of the kilometers per hour. What I learned was that changing this to the US measurement does not affect the speed indication on the dash. So it's beautiful. In fact, you can change it to the US measurement, and you'll be able to understand the temperature, because for me, let me get out of this screen here. I'll go here. I'll turn the heat down too, because obviously it's chilly out. I've been warming it up. But hold on one sec, guys. Sorry. I'm going to move this down to here. Now there you see. See, it's indicating 65 degrees. That makes sense to me. I typically am a 73 degree guy. That is my perfect temperature in the home, and also in the car. But when you're in metric, come here. Oh, I'm in there already. I don't want that. Here we go. When you're in metric, 23 degrees means nothing to me. I can't, I know what 73 is. 23, I just don't get. I'm much more comfortable with imperial measurements when it comes to temperature. There's another thing I'm much more comfortable with it on. So I'm going to move that, do this. There we go. 73. That is the temperature at which the cabin is being set to right now, obviously, and then 34 is outside. What's interesting is that if you want to change the speed alone, you just go here and press and hold, and it gets changed to miles per hour right there. I think you got to be moving. Oh, there. Nope. I got it. I was pressing and holding it too long. It says press to hold or press and hold on this display often, but quite honestly, you don't press and hold it. You just press it. So I'll press it again. There we go. That's the cool thing, is that it will display kilometers, but as you'll notice in the upper left-hand corner, I'm getting a Fahrenheit indication on the engine temperature. That's perfect. But here's the other thing that I really like. I like to see what my fuel mileage is, just out of curiosity. When you buy a Viper, you don't really give a damn what your fuel mileage is, or you shouldn't, or else you bought the wrong car. Get a Prius. But it is always interesting to me, the kind of mileage I'm getting when I'm on the highway. I'll tell you right now, this car in 6th gear at 75 miles an hour gets 21 miles to the gallon, period. If you're on flat, level ground, without a massive headwind, etc., you are getting 21 miles to the gallon. I think it's rated at 23. Maybe it's my fat ass that reduces the reduces the fuel mileage. I'm sitting at about 220, 215. Anyway, but as you can see, it'll show the average miles per gallon right there. If you have it in the metric version, what you get is your liters per 100 kilometers. Means absolutely nothing to me. I can't make sense of it. You get about 11.4 to 11 liters per 100 kilometers when you've got it in the metric. 11 liters per 100 kilometers to me makes no sense. However, 17 miles to the gallon makes perfect sense. And quite honestly, I think there are a lot of Canadians, although I'm not Canadian, but I think there are a lot of Canadians who would agree that it is much easier to understand miles per gallon. I'm getting 35 miles to the gallon, that's really good, or I'm getting 30, or whatever it is, versus 7 liters per 100 kilometers. Anyway, so it was something interesting I learned. I can keep my kilometers per hour, but I can get the units of measurement that I understand with respect to fuel consumption and temperature. Awesome. Smart Viper guys, you rock. Love SRT. And this car is just, well, like I say, I've owned it for a couple of years now, and I'm still learning things about it, and it never ceases to amaze me. I'm down here, it's, well, 7:16 in the morning. I was up at about 6:30, eager to come down and go hit McDonald's and get some breakfast before my conference here. You know, charged up about getting in the Viper and firing it up. That's what owning something like this does. You're eager to get up in the morning, go down to your car, and go for a little drive. That's pretty cool, and that's worth every penny. So there you go, guys. Video for you, and something new and interesting about the Viper that I learned. All right, cheers. Take care.